Okay, I think it's a fruit now. Let me see. Do okay? It does register. Good. Alright. Now it can I change the game while yes I can. Don't want to do that. I am gonna play I'm gonna play something too because I think there's a really underrated game. Actually not time, but hey balers have special power. For example, if I take this guy and archer, you can see here that he will up the damage. Holy. So the archer I have some actually with me. Well, I also have problems killing. Never mind. But further, let's say those. Look at this. So there, hit right there. Pretty sure that I'd hit probably my arm. But like, if I then, because this is a big factor. This is the craziest. That kills this, but not with this. Would you look at this? Look at that! Absolute counter. Okay, is that there? Is a little mistake. Like, look at that! He doesn't stand a chance, and he's dead. Granted, I did use more, but like, you still, if you like have two of them, then like behind it, one squire. Just take a look at what happens. Okay, I might have. Look at that! They destroyed him. Now it is hard to implement, but here comes the magnum opus. Upping ballista. It may take some tries, but hello. Would you look at that? He's fine. Yep. Anyway, I feel like I just want to get that out of the way. I do know this. I've known that for like a year or two. I started making a series like where I profile every single year, and then I was like mopping around with the spear thrower, and then I realized that the hay baler didn't take any damage. And then I kind of just tested around with it and realized, wow, the hay baler, this absolute counter. Let me just check. I know they can't survive. They can't survive something like can't survive something like I don't know. This. But like, the ballista does that much damage to a tank. You can spare the tank this amount of damage by just having one hay baler. You not very good at hit them. He just 3 hits, then he will. But this, then he won't. Let's take a super box. How much does he do? Oh right, he doesn't take that. Yes, you. I think it's Hurry! Yep. But the problem is, the painter, while he is reusable, he's pretty worthless. And he only has one good dodge in him. Like every few seconds, so. And then the ballista just continues onwards. It's not really that sufficient, but he does have the advantage of. I actually don't know this. Does he have this advantage? No, he does. By the way, bullets are fairly effective against this because it just cuts through the armor. It's a bigger layer. Just like the bullets, it's instant. I actually don't know if there's anything else I could test. Harpoon still has issues because the guy just kicks him in the... Yeah, oh, pikes. You could probably know. Pikes are absolute. Oh. Dang. Yep. Boom. One. And that is because if I... They do a lot of damage. If I delete these two, still nukes it. If I delete these, it still nukes them. If I delete these, it still nukes him. If I delete the 5 inches, it didn't nuke them because he got the first shot. Just had some peasants in front. That didn't quite kill. Except it did. Four kills? Oh my goodness, I didn't know that they did that much damage. Wow. Wait. Yeah, so 4 is enough to kill the coming tank. We are talking about a balance of power of this. Oh, we did by the last. So, like, to fail save it, you would just add 2 additional ones. And peasant in front. That's not fail saving it. It looks very much alive. Oh no. Not a single one of them got that. Oh, we got 1 hit in. Okay, but anyways, that's... I think that's enough taps for today. Yeah. What the flip is going on over there? I really want to know what they're fighting. Midday now. My mind. Off my mind. Excuse me? What? Good lord. American. Oh, it's because that guy died. Honoring. Oh, it's back with my. And now it's time to mine. So now that I've found my way here, it's time to get up. Meanwhile, I will just talk about drafleon. So the time in which humanity they reached so actually maybe I should start from humanity. So this takes place in the future where humanity's resources are pretty much drained. Therefore, in fact, there's another book I'm playing about a guy who's like adept, and him rooted into different things, and trying to help stop somebody. But it then turns out in the end that he is a bad guy because whatever team he's like working for, they have some sort of vision. Although cruel, it will in the long run make Earth at least slow down its degeneration. Not stop it outright, but like give them time to actually process what they want to do. But he is not interested in that. But that's beside the point. Eventually, he gets stopped, and actually, Europe and America, they will work together with all the other countries to make some sort of develop some sort of effort to travel the stars, and they succeed, and they use a copy of this food, and they outsource or they distribute a copy to everyone that have worked on it. Actually, to everyone, and they take to the stars, and with the aim of reaching a certain planet called Kelvin. I'm pretty sure Kelvin, it's gotta be a different Kelvin than the usual one, because do that, but this is one that's irrefutably beyond. And so they take off. They take to the stars, and you follow the European Union as they traverse one section at a time. Eventually, but it turns out that their path is a little odd, because they every single vessel had a pre-planned route so that there would be no like dispute about the resources amongst one another. By the way, there was a bug right there. But Europe finds itself at the doorstep of another nation's armada, and they are able to talk it out peacefully. But then the next jump, and then the jumps are normal again, and then the same thing happens. This time, it is actual combat. It's a small vessel, though. It's a small vessel, and they manage to overcome it, even though they don't have any military vessels. They take heavy damage, but they are able to survive. They weren't able to preserve their aggressor, and there's only a very small amount of refugees actually onto their ship. And like, this is also where they learn about how they should start making auxiliary ships, like all fighter jets, jets and such. And so they gather up again, and now more prepared, they reach the next section. Again, they meet another nation, another and another and another. Eventually, they meet Russia, and Russia, and actually they come to a system where just as they jump in, there's another ship that jumps out. And the only thing there is a planet next to it that looks very odd. Like, it's all green and toxic. They eventually figure out which planet it is, and that is indeed a strange one. But it looks odd in a way, kind of like it's carved the whole inside of it. And so the European Union is a little vicious of whatever the ship is doing. By the way, the ship that walked in actually did not do that. It do something to them, but it isn't the cause for that thing being split open, like having a quick tube down into the center. That's what different. It also gets registered that there's a lot of toxic material on it. By the way, that's neither the works of. I apologize. I am talking. And by the way, it's not, the toxins are neither implemented by the whatever ship that was, but they still did something. But then once they stay there for a while, looking for resources, then another ship warps in, and this time it's Russia. The European vessels, they started priming their ships, but Russia comes in peace because they have experiencing some strange thing about their drive, and the fact that the European Union has not fired on, and this time they have like been immediately like, we are not here to fight. And that's what they've said to every ship they've come across. Because for as much as they can destroy everything, they do not want to. And they also talk about this, having some oddities with their hyperdrive. They have the shade. That's the same shade. Then also the European Union brings it up that they saw the shade, and both of them eventually just walk away from the section. There is nothing. But at least now the European Union has had a respite. The Russians also give them some technology. Might also have given them some technology. I am not actually certain about that. This is a part of the story I have too much. I wanted to process. If you know the game Homeworld, I wanted to be like, but yeah, basically. Like, yeah, Homeworld is really good. I think this sort of game would be fantastic. And also, there are two other games after that I would think could really fit with the same format. And then after this, then they take on, they meet some more, incorporate them, and eventually they make it to a place where the observation deck freaks out. Not because the shade is standing right in front of it, which it is, but because it just makes sense. Because usually the ship jumps, even with a fault, it jumps like 100, maybe 200 light years. And that accelerates time by a tenth. So that means if they travel 10 light years, then they're 1 year in the future, which means that whatever is in front of them is 11 years in the future compared to where they were originally when they jumped. If they travel away from something, then they'll travel 9 years. Then whatever they see is 9 years in the past. It is a little confusing, but like it is light years, so it takes light to travel. It takes light a year to travel if it's 1 light year, and that means that if we thank you. If we travel 10 light years and move 1 year into the future, that means light has traveled 1 year. So if you travel forward, then you will have see light 10 years into the future, or rather then you will kind of dilate whatever you see 10 years into the future. And then on top of that, you're closer. So you're observing night that was 1 year in the future. I'm not explaining this really well, but regardless, it results in them seeing something that they couldn't quite convey what was wrong. I have a text document where I explain exactly what it is, but effectively it is that there are a few stars. There are stars in, I know, crazy. But these stars, they don't really make any sense. It is a collection of 3 stars and 1 neutron star. And 3 of the stars, they are like, there's a red, a yellow one, and then a giant one. I can't remember if it's blue or not. And these stars, they are, I forgot the full name. And these stars are, the orbit is odd because they are like next to each other, like in segments. So like first there's 1 star, then for that there's a like right next to it is the red star, and then the giant star is a bit further behind them, and they all orbit one object, a small object. It's just sitting there, which they have not catalogued ever. It's a planet they didn't know existed. And it's weirder, on the opposite side is a neutron star, and on the surface of the planet, green patches. There's also like a great plain, and they are just the scientists are puzzled. How can this be? What is this? This doesn't make any sense. And worst of all, these stars originate on the sections. In fact, they can see all of them, or 3 of them, on this like, they can see the original location. They can pinpoint their location by just looking at the stars. They can see, there is it. It's right over there, over 1,000 light years away. And that one, that's like 2,000 light years away. How can they be here? Because whatever brought them here must have traveled beyond the speed of light. And they're terrified. They are keeping on doing research on it. Even to the point where when it gets shot, one single guy runs ahead and slams the transfer button to transfer the data and the hypotheses to another segment of the ship, because this must not be lost. And this is in the middle of a battle zone, a war zone. This is a very important part for them, because like, what is going on? But they died, and because there's a battleship that is currently fighting them, Jade. Because when they warped section, they found the Russian vessel open. It was torn in twain, like its center was shredded to debris. And all that's left is that foreign ship now aims at. They also noticed that the shade bears sigil the United States of, or rather America, and why they came eventually. And so the fight begins, and well, I won't get into it, but effectively, the European unit manages to succeed, even though the enemy has nuclear weapons. Though their hyperdrive was damaged in the process, and they cannot jump, and it's also the reactor is critical, so they have to land immediately on that planet. They also managed to do it through the sacrifice of Israel, though sacrifice may be a well, actually, yeah, it was. It basically is all the Israelis are elite soldiers. They are all connected to a network in a way that enhances their coordination, but does mean that they're never alone. Get a bit tedious. Well, what it effectively is a little uncertain about. I'm a little uncertain about. I've not focused this much on the lore before drafleon. A little bit. There's also like the bikers. They are intriguing. Anyways, yeah, they destroy them. But the ship is heavily damaged. They try to land on the planet. They darkspawn. The neutron star acts a little oddly. And then a gust of wind extends from the icy spirals of the north. Icy, persistent, continuous torrent of the north. And it slams the ships towards the planet, out of the side of the neutron star, and they crash onto the planet. That is effectively how the story starts, and that humanity reaches drafleon. Is it picking up any? Also, did I remember to put it on to? Oh, I forgot my. Also, I should probably change this other thing. Yeah. And how much time have I spent talking? Oh wow, that's a lot. I haven't even done it. Oh right, I was also inside of it, showing how mechanics work. By the way, I love tabs. I love playing, and I love profiling. There's also some stuff I want to show about the head button. I may have to go to the back room. That's not good. Once I make it down there, I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna do it now. I am back. Good, no one actually came here. Good. Good. But it's a shame it's not a game. This time. Regardless, I'm gonna have to dig that direction. There we go. At what point does it lag? It doesn't lag. Good. Let me just check. Does it lag if I go this direction? Alright. Well, I can always change where that. Okay, so far, so good. Ah, gotcha. So, what else can I say about it? I guess I can continue on with humanity. So, humanity, the land of the planets, they landed amongst the trees. Such didn't really break the law. And effectively, the bridge where this one called. Oh, I don't remember what she's called. It's been a while since I've actually. But anyway, she is actually a biker. Albeit she is strange because she has not really experienced her parents' teaching. They're rather been raised by others, like a foster family, which means that her sociopathic tendencies have not really realized to a significant degree. Therefore, she is the captain of this, and a competent one. She helps then her to get out of this turned toppled over ship by her first like making sure everyone's okay, then going up to the climbing up, or rather the grappling gear, the one that actually fell from ceiling, to grapple her way up to the rest of the grappling kits, and then kind of send them all down to them, because right now they're trapped inside the bridge. Get out of there. So now, once she's gotten all the stuff, she goes to the window, which is a little further up from where they're like tilted. They're like tilted onto the side. They're tilted onto the side, so therefore they kind of have to brave a wall in order to like a wall to get up to the actual window, or at least the escape part of the window. They can't just break any part of the window because and to resist the pressures of space. There's only one particular place where you can actually break it, and that she climbs up to and then stands, crevices, looking at the planet. They cannot know for certain that it is safe to breathe, though. The data sent by the observation deck before they perished, the ones that were so insisted on figuring out how this could even be, this entire solar system could even be, they did send the information that the atmosphere was. No, actually, they didn't. Couldn't send anything. Regardless, they run some tests on some of the air, and it does seem breathable. She takes on a mask, goes outside. Oh, actually, she breaks first the window, then goes outside, and it is breathable. Like, fully breathable. And so he starts making her way down. He also puts on the rope, and he also looks around. The place is a fairly large forest, but you can see that it's more like a patch, like an island amongst a plain. And then in the far distance, you can also see the ocean, vast and never ending. You can even see the planet's curve from just slightly. Oh, actually, you can, yeah, it's just slightly. It is a very big ship, so there's a far way down. Luckily, they have enough rope to get down to this point. And so they start getting people down. They tend the sick. They unfortunately do not have access to the medical facility, which is the first one that they start prioritizing when they get down. Now, the engineering facility has already freed themselves and are in the full process of starting to weld through the or like cut through into the different sections. The ship was made in compartments so that if one compartment broke, like if one priority compartment broke, for example, the one that produces food, then it wouldn't compromise the water compartment or the weapons compartment. They're like, it's effectively just a collection of ship holes segregated together to form the entire ship. That way, internal damage, if they received it, would not be critical and would not end with the entire ship depressurizing. I thought I had put it on, but so the entire ship was safe from it. This did mean that it would take a lot longer to extract everyone, and maybe some facility time to survive for that. Now, as the Israelites had all died, there wasn't really a military. There was the defense force inside of the ship, but not as militarized. Really, but now flooded with radiation. That's where the reactor is. And so and in fact the police department or the internal security department is not been freed yet. So the only force that they really have to rely on are the security officers bridge, which is not a lot. There's like 20 guys at most. So as they are doing their research, or actually trying to cut through to first the medical and then security section, actually both at the same time, they don't have to focus on one, then they start setting out guys, like teams of 2 that are gonna scout out the area. Specifically, they send one that stands up on the hill to like watch over stuff, and they send these people out to crap. Out to do their checks and it's basically just they sent teams. I think it was it's not 5 teams. That's a little much. Oh, actually, yes, it was 5 teams with a certain degree from one another, and then they each go just one direction, to the front of the ship. That's like all the ship's guns are on one side. The others are just pointing straight up. So they're kind of turning the they are moving in in an arc from the ship's front. Meanwhile, they're just setting out scouts behind the vessel, because that's where they do not have any weaponry. Therefore, they do not want to scout that direction, because otherwise, if they encounter any scouts or any other creature, then if it chases them, then once they return to the nebula, which is the ship, then it wouldn't be able to fire. But if they encounter anything unlike the front, then they can just retreat back, and then the guns can fire upon it, evaporating. And that's what they do. They go out then, look for whatever is there, and some of them, like the first team who went to the left edge of this cone, they find, eventually they found the edge, where they see, like, it's almost systematically that the trees have been, like, planted. The same also goes for the ones who went to the ones who were on the right edge did not see the same thing. They in fact found a cavern, an entrance to a cavern that seems very deep. So they notify that exists, and they plan for an eventual investigation of that cave. I figure out. It could be to check that, like, whenever that could be a shelter for though they will probably use nebula base of operation. And they send out the third team. They neither notice anything, they just keep walking. The fourth team, they also don't find anything, but the second team is not feeling like they are being followed, and they continue to feel like they're being followed. Like the odd sound here now, every now and again, of just the fact that they feel like they're watched. They don't actually hear any sounds, and so they talk to another team, who then goes out and tries like to link up with them. But still, they don't really spot it. Meanwhile, they've also dispatched a sniper to their location, and he sees something. He sees something walking in the shade, and then it is like a humanoid shape in a way, hunched over, and sharp ripples go along its spine. There's horns, snout, post, brand set, sparkling. Then, from its shoulder, shoots another head, which then stares directly at that looks around, and then its eyes turn white from reflection as it looks straight at the sniper. Immediately, the like main head of the creature jerks to look at the sniper, and then it goes into motion. It leaps to another branch and then starts galloping, sprinting at the sniper on four legs. And the sniper, he turns to take aim, but as soon as he does, the creature twists around on the branch, running on its underside, and then suddenly it jumps up and into another level of the tree's crowns, and it eventually just stands in front of him, yanks the gun out of his hand, and then starts inspecting it. The human panics and leaps down the hill and runs behind a tree. I can't actually remember. I probably get documents time where I have written all this down. So I'm unfortunately gonna have to pause it here because I can't remember exactly what happens. Like, I have these things written down somewhere, but it's been a long time since I've read it. Fortunately, yeah, so I have to do that. But anyways, that's like the beginning to the entire story. In fact, that's not the beginning. Like, the whole thing that I've written begins with a rifle sitting side of a great hall where the humans are discussing politics about alcohol. And Raffles, the Draffle companion, Draffle has two Draffles, and then there's one Raffic. But like, the companion following the main character in that situation is getting impatient. But that's another story. But this is how the story starts, like, for the humans. That's when they're introduced. There's a lot of going, when they're like 2 books worth going on before this, before humanity comes into the picture. And then after humanity comes into the picture, they're like, just for the first life of the actual main character, it's it is them landing up the book, society build, how the air incident, New Hamburg is the first espionage phase with character, and then there is the main story, the last story. And I think I can never write all of them. There's a lot, so I see kind of this series kind of getting. I kind of with this series seek to just get it out there. Like, there is no way I can finish entire just one lifespan. I could probably come up with the theory for it, but like to write actual stories for every single piece, that I can. That would just be cumbersome. I would have. I mean, I would love to sit and write my story, live. Would love to do that, but don't that book. Also, in hindsight, I'm not actually certain it I'll try. But I'm gonna talk about it. And eventually it might be that. Oh, it might be the people. God wills. Alright, so I mean, we have now found a fairly secure place for like the mob farm. I just have to consider. I think my next step. I've like confirmed this place doesn't have the bug. I just need to know what is the range. Okay, so there, it also happens. Happens there. Here it also happens. Intriguing. You know, I think I can get him up out of this. I'll get him up. A few. Crap. Okay, bread. Oh, diavolo puta! Damn it! I can't do that! Oh my god! My... Damn it. I really ought to take some of these and turn it to Okay, you know what? The problem is now I have like no food at all. I think I stop for now. I might need. I don't have food for this. Or maybe I should just get some pigs. Get some pigs. Kill them. That way, it's not gonna be such a crazy struggle for life. When I step into, my goodness, that is horrible. It's horrible. Yeah, we are gonna actual virtual service. Get pigs. Also get some that I'm going to the surface anyway. Please tell me that it isn't coming as I am returning. No, I can make it pretty sizable. Just need back to it. Back. Like that. Also, I can get armor. Yeah, I'll get some armor. Now I'm going to the surface anyway. I'm gonna get armor. Stone. Please, stone. I forgot something very important. That is builds. Alright. The sun is shining. Great. Oh, ah, yeah. Oh, oh, that's a lot of cows. Um, I should make like a tutorial, so like just for the video editing. Ever found yourself on fire? Fear not, there is a simple fix to it. All you need is 15 wheat and more. Simply keep calm, step out of the lava, go to your nearest crafting. If you do not have a crafting, put it together. Don't panic. Oh, step 2. Now that you have your crafting table, you are gonna right click on it. Step 3. Now you place the first wheat in the first top left spot. Step 2. Place the second wheat in the middle top spot. Step 3. Put a third piece of wheat in the top right spot. Then die of birth. Now craft 1 bread. Now put that into the hotbar. Now eat bread. Repeat these steps from the opening the crafting bench, the bread. As many times as you want until longer on fire. Or welcome. Thank you for watching short intermission. Now back to your regular schedule mining. Now back to your regular schedule. Thank you for watching this notice. Please return to your regular scrolling. Please return to your regular schedule road. Please return to your schedule scrolling. Well, that looks like a prediction. Oh. You're welcome, by the way. I would have thought a fang was smaller. Problem. I'm gonna have to fix Alright, now I have plenty of food for what I need. Anyways, I think this